Right, so Mark Gurman's given us release date updates regarding the M2 MacBook Air and the M2 MacBook Pro, so let's delve into it. But first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so recently there's been chatter that WWDC could be focused on the M2 chip, and so as a result, we could see quite a few M2 Macs launch in June. And with Gurman previously telling us there were multiple M2 Macs being tested on macOS 12.3 and 12.4, that does suggest we could see new M2 Macs very soon. Well, that does bring me to this new report where Gurman says the MacBook Air has been delayed to the second half of 2022. Now yes, I know that June technically does fall into the second half of the year, but I do think when Gurman says delayed, he's referring to a release date that could be in October or November. And I guess that does make sense because number one, the MacBook Air with the M2 chip is going to get a completely new design, and I'm sure that's a factor that's pushing back the release. But also we've heard about mini LED coming to this Air with the M2 chip, and while there's been delays and supply shortages with this tech, and so again, that's most likely why the release is going to get pushed back. Some could also argue the original M1 chip was also revealed later in the year, so Apple following that for the M2 MacBook Air does make sense. So yeah, the M2 Macs with macOS 12.3 and 12.4 are more likely to be the Macs with no redesign. And that does bring me to the base MacBook Pro with the M2 chip, since that's not getting a new design, and so we could see that launch as soon as WWDC. In fact, Gurman does not specify a release timeframe for that Mac, he just says it should release sometime in 2022, so I do think a WWDC release is very likely. And like I've said in the past, this MacBook still makes no sense to me because why give the MacBook Air a massive refresh when the higher-end Pro model's not getting any upgrades? I mean, this is going to have the touch bar, which is going to be a little odd. It's going to have LCD, which is going to be a lot worse than the mini LED tech for the other MacBooks. And also, it's not getting MagSafe for the new notch. So yeah, this with the older designs is going to look pretty odd in the lineup, and the only way this can make sense is that, like I've said in the past, Apple should turn this into a base MacBook instead that sits below the Air in the range, since we're sure the M2 Air is going to see a price increase. And so this offering the M2 chip, but with a lower price and the older design, could make sense. Now for those wondering if the higher end Pros are going to get a refresh in 2022, Gurman says that's not going to be the case, and that makes sense because these MacBooks are near perfect as is, and so they're definitely not in desperate need of an upgrade. So yes, if you're waiting for an M2 Pro or an M2 Max MacBook Pro to launch, that won't be coming out until next year. So yeah, those are all the tidbits guys, but tell me your predictions for release dates for future MacBooks in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the link above on details regarding Apple's VR headsets, and on that note I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya peeps!